There will be those who want to make it a very sad day, the anniversary of a tragedy, but we've grieved for a year. Enough. Now, once we identify those miracles and celebrate them, this is going to be over. The story of Hanukkah, the miracle and the celebration. We're living in Israel, we have our temple, everything's great. And the land is invaded by a superior army in numbers. There was a battle, the Maccabees fought against all odds, and they won. But there were casualties. The following year, the sages declared that this would be a holiday forever because of the miracle of the war and the miracle of the oil. Why a year later? Because after the casualties, the toll of the war, it would be inappropriate to be celebrating the miracle. So the emphasis was on the grief, on the loss, on the casualties. But the next year, on the anniversary of the events of Hanukkah, the sages declared, now we have to celebrate the miracle. The miracle was that although there were casualties, by the natural order of things, it should have been much worse. If the experts were placing bets, they would have bet that there would have been far more casualties, given the superior numbers and so on. So the first miracle is the casualties were only what they were. October 7th, same thing. The first year when it happens and there are victims and there are casualties and there are tragedies, you can't think of the miracle, you have to think of the loss. But now on the anniversary of October 7th, looking back at it, 4,000 terrorists, approximately. The amount of damage they could have done, and by nature should have accomplished, whatever the reason, the explanation given, they were expecting retaliation, they were expecting resistance that wasn't really there, so they hesitated, and whatever the answer or the explanation is, it was unexpected. 4,000 terrorists can do a whole lot more damage, God forbid. So the miracle is that they didn't accomplish more than they did. In fact, their plan was to do more. Since then, what has the year brought? We grieved. We agitated for the release of the hostages. We believed in the retaliation. We encouraged the army. But again, the miracles, the constant miracles. First of all, the rockets. Thousands and thousands. And the news simply says, no casualties reported. It got to be so common that people simply dismiss the rockets as if they're toy rockets. Yeah, a rocket fell, but it doesn't do anything. Oh, we're not talking about toy rockets. And we're not talking about obsolete rockets. We're talking about seriously dangerous, damaging rockets. And yet, whenever a rocket gets past the defense system, it either lands out in a field or in a deserted highway or in a building that everyone had just left. Once, twice, you can dismiss it as a coincidence. But a whole year? And before October 7th, for the last 17 years, it's not right to not celebrate a miracle. So yes, we have to grieve, and we have to fight, and we have to suffer losses, but you can't ignore the miracles either. So the first year, although there were miracles happening, the emphasis was on the grief. This year, the emphasis has to be, does the world not recognize that God is protecting the Jewish people once again? Does the world not see that all those rockets are somehow drawn away from the populated areas every single time? They must. We can do no less. We have to recognize the miracle and express our gratitude. The soldiers, by the way, they're incredible. They don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but their optimism, their enthusiasm, their trust in the righteousness of their cause, and now their trust in God's providence, thanking God constantly, singing, praying, putting on tefillin. Incredible people. And they're so young. And all of this is happening spontaneously. There are no rabbis running around urging them to pray. In fact, when there's no rabbi, they demand one because they want to pray and they want to express their gratitude and their optimism for the miracles they see. We have so much to be proud of. The hostages that were released or escaped or survived, they're such incredible people. The strength, the resilience, the trust, the sanity. Yeah, they're going to need some therapy. But it's awesome. They become influencers, they become speakers, they become celebrities. We have a lot to be thankful for, and we have a lot to be proud of. And to not express that would be sinful, a crime. So we have to let the world know. Not that they don't notice the miracles. We have to let them know that we notice the miracles and that we are confident in the continuation of those miracles, and that in light of those miracles, they really should just put down their arms because they're not getting anywhere. Once again, the world thinks that Jews can be victimized. Once again, they think they can win. They can do damage, but they cannot win. Ever. Because in the end, what is righteous wins. Not the number of soldiers, not the sophistication of weapons. The one who is right always wins in the end. So this year we're going to celebrate. I'm not saying we should. I'm saying we will. It's a prediction. That's the mood. The people are ready to celebrate because there is so much to celebrate. So stay tuned. Watch what happens. There will be those who want to make it a very sad day, the anniversary of a tragedy. But we've grieved for a year. Enough. Now, fighting on all the fronts that Israel is fighting on, the miracles keep piling up. Miracles keep happening. The enemy must notice I'm sure they notice, but they're waiting for us to confirm. Once we identify those miracles and celebrate them, this is going to be over. Because once you know it's coming from God, even the ancient Egyptians surrendered. That's what the New Year is going to bring. We're going to experience a very dramatic change in human attitude. We're not just going to thank God for a miracle the same way we've been doing for the last 4,000 years. What's happening is that God is becoming so real that even yesterday's non-believer is going to celebrate God's miracles. Because when it's clear and obvious, there's no room for doubts. There's no room for cynicism. There's no room for skepticism. We're entering a new world, a world where God is real and the rest is just commentary. It doesn't hurt that the rest that we consider to be real has all failed. Everything has failed. And so there's no competition anymore. God is real, everything is not. This is our experience, not a religious belief, not a religious doctrine, just the news, when it's not fake news. So if we look at the news honestly, and we recognize the miracles honestly, and we know that we cannot be ungrateful, well, then we have a whole new reality. Truth is true. The rest is not. God is real. The things we believed in and trusted for the last 50, 60, 80 years, all disappointed. So the world is going to be a better world. People will be more honest. People will be more truthful. People will be more sincere, more sympathetic, more godly. And that's the world we've been working towards through blood and tears, through the most difficult of times. The Torah remained the truth. The Word of God remained the truth. There was no tampering with it. There was no compromising. We stayed the course. Now we're ready to see the results, to see the truth winning and all falsehood disappearing. So Happy New Year. It's a good one. The new year is going to bring blessings that will make the Bible's miracles look like nothing. Of this, I am absolutely sure. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. These ideas, these messages, this approach to life, this approach to Torah, to meaning, and to morals is vital for the world today. And we need to get this message out to the entire world. It is universal, it's essential, it's indispensable. To support this effort, if you want to be a partner in this crime, check out the link and make a donation. It really helps a lot. And thank you in advance.